Welcome to the next episode of KD Trends. This episode, we are talking to Tanmay from Evnato, one of the success stories of Melbourne and one of the most widely used company for a lot of digital assets. How important are the use cases in your product development strategy?
Sure. So I'll just dial back to the role. So as product managers, our key role is to kind of figure out what the right product to build is to solve the most important problems for the customer in the market that we're in, so that we can make that product commercially successful. Like alongside a whole bunch of other strategies that we use, understanding sort of what those most important use cases are plays a very important role. And then once we've kind of figured out what to build, also trying to define that and help the developers understand sort of what exactly to build in that space. Use cases help us communicate that to them as well. So in the form of user stories on agile sort of cards or
Absolutely.
Job stories, we help communicate that clearly and concisely to the developers as well.
And how do you efficiently manage your product discovery phase? That's one of the most important, and use cases are also one of the part of the product discovery phases, right?
Sure.
So what are some of the good methods that you guys follow as a part of product discovery?
I guess depends on the kind of product that that you're building, and we come up with a mix of techniques to try and figure out what to build, which is part of the discovery process. So for example, for a digital product, we can rely quite easily on data, or metrics or quantitative measures of finding out where the sort of experience is not great at the moment in our product, and what's missing, what could we improve to level up our metrics and make it more successful. For more hardware products, traditionally we've relied on other methods like user research, user interviews, and so on, and more sort of surveys to find out what exactly to build. So it's just really about trying to use the best tool or a mix of tools to try and give you a complete picture of what you can build. I start with a core sort of concept, a one-pager even, that I write up about what's the problem that we're trying to solve, why is it important to even solve that for the customer, what are the success measures, so if we do solve it correctly, what happens, what changes. Try and give that to the team to collaborate on and do some design studios or figure out some small experiments that we can do to try and test some of our hypotheses or what we're thinking around those things. Try and sort of clarify the problem space and clarify what we could do in that problem space.
So you have a lot of collaborators as a part of the product development. You have designers, you have developers, and all those people. But who are the important people as a part of the product discovery you bring onto the table while you are discussing with the product owner or the client?
Sure. So I suppose the way we try and operate is in a very sort of in a cross-functional team. The key sort of roles in that team, and depends on the size of the organization or the kind of project. So there's a whole bunch of stakeholders, right?
Yeah.
And what we try and do is we collaborate with these, and everyone I feel wears a different lens.
Yes.
And brings their perspective to the table. That's the lens that customer success brings. UX research often brings that sort of lens in terms of longer term understanding of the user.
And the roadmap as well.
Yeah, like as in more around, is this really a problem, or the way we're trying to solve it, is this really gonna solve that problem for them, or is it the best way or not? So they help the design workshops and so on. And the dev team really helps you figure out that what you're proposing is it actually buildable or not.
So what are the couple of key takeaways, if you have to mention, like say a couple of bullet points? Make sure this is the most important thing before you start the product development or discovery phase, right?
I guess before trying to embark on that journey of trying to develop a product, it's really key to understand sort of like the space itself. It's broad, but like what are the biggest problems to solve in that space? What are the sort of existing competitors and the solutions that are already there, and what are the things that they are not offering, which you can provide to solve those critical needs of the users in that space. So that's and then collaborating with the team to make sure you've got those different lenses, looking at it and coming up with a good solution that can win in the market.
It's very important for them to understand these two takeaways and make sure you are embarking onto the right journey so that you can mitigate the risk and reduce the chances of failure.